The Deep South looks charming on a postcard. The laws, the roads, and the geography? Whole different story. Here are 43 facts that will make you question everything. Number 1. Alabama has a law making it illegal to wear a fake mustache in church if it causes laughter. Someone in the state legislature sat down, held a formal session, and decided comedic facial hair in houses of worship was a problem worth legislating. A sufficiently somber fake mustache is apparently still fine. Number 2. Mississippi has a town called Chunky, named after the Chunky River. Around 300 people live there, go to work, and receive mail addressed simply to Chunky, Mississippi. The Postal Service nods and delivers it without comment. Number 3. Atlanta built one of the most expensive stretches of highway per mile in Georgia, and it's also one of the least used. Atlanta consistently ranks among the top 5 most congested cities in America, and yet somehow also constructed a ghost road. That's a very particular kind of planning failure that actually requires effort. Number 4. Louisiana has parishes instead of counties. Every other state uses counties. Louisiana was based on French and Spanish civil law and simply never joined that conversation. Tourists from other states stare at maps looking for county lines that will never appear. Number 5. Florida's Pensacola has a law where the penalty for rolling a barrel down a street depends entirely on what's inside the barrel. Empty barrel, minor infraction. Barrel of beer, different charge. The law says nothing about what to do if the barrel is rolling on its own. Number 6. Alabama's state constitution is the longest written constitution of any governing body on earth. Over 900 amendments, hundreds of thousands of words, and provisions governing the salaries of specific county employees by name. Last fully rewritten in 1901. They've been adding amendments ever since, the way other people add sticky notes to a wall that's already out of space. Number 7. Tennessee has a town called Defeated. The name comes from a local creek, but the effect of writing, "I'm in defeated Tennessee" on a postcard transcends geography. Real estate agents there have developed a very specific psychological resilience. Number 8. Georgia has 2 cities called Columbus. 2 of them. Georgia's solution was not to rename one. The solution was to acknowledge both and let the postal system sort it out. Could you imagine having to specify which Columbus every single time? Number 9. Mississippi made it illegal to teach evolution as established science in public schools. A law that stayed on the books until 1987, repealed only after the Supreme Court forced the issue. Generations of students were taught biology with a legal asterisk attached. Number 10. South Carolina has a town called Due West, as in the compass direction. Someone pointed toward the horizon and wrote it down. Due West does have a college, which means freshmen get to write Due West, South Carolina on applications and watch admissions officers do a slow double take. Number 11. Louisiana is the only state still operating under the Napoleonic Code for civil law. Property inheritance, marital contracts, community property, all derived from early 19th century French legal reform. Move there from another state without a specialist lawyer, and you're about to have a very educational experience. Number 12. Mississippi only ratified the 13th Amendment, abolishing slavery, in 1995, but they never filed the paperwork with the federal government. That oversight wasn't discovered until 2013, when a professor and a doctor were inspired by the film Lincoln to look it up. Mississippi's ratification wasn't officially certified until 148 years after the amendment passed. Number 13. Alabama has a law prohibiting playing dominoes on Sunday. Not gambling with dominoes, just playing them. The law remains unrepealed, meaning every Sunday domino game in Alabama exists in a quiet, legal gray zone that nobody enforces, but nobody removed either. Number 14. Georgia has a law prohibiting carrying an ice cream cone in your back pocket on Sundays. Researchers believe it may have originated as a horse theft deterrent. Placing a cone in your pocket near a horse could lure it to follow you. Whether or not that's the actual origin, Georgia went ahead and legislated frozen dessert placement specifically. Number 15. The Mississippi River shifts course over centuries, so there are actual counties where land exists on the Arkansas side of the river, but legally belongs to Mississippi, and vice versa. People in these pockets live in one state, while surrounded on all sides by another. Their neighbors are citizens of a different political entity. Number 16. Tennessee spans nearly 500 miles east to west, containing biomes from river lowlands to alpine meadows. More ecological diversity than almost any other continental state. It operates on exactly one time zone. Memphis and Johnson City share a clock, despite being in functionally different worlds. Number 17. Florida's Sarasota has a law requiring parking fees to be paid if an elephant is tied to a parking meter. just as with a vehicle. This made historical sense. Sarasota was the home of Ringling Brothers. Someone thought to legislate elephant parking fees rather than just prohibit elephants at meters, which is a specific kind of thoroughness. Number 18. Louisiana's Lake Pontchartrain Causeway is the longest bridge over water in the world, at nearly 24 miles. Drivers reach a midpoint where they can see neither shore in any direction, surrounded entirely by water. The bridge also sits just a few feet above the lake's surface for most of its length. A strong wind out there feels like a personal conversation. Number 19. Georgia's Stone Mountain is the largest exposed piece of granite in the world. Carved into it is the largest bas-relief sculpture in the world, a Confederate memorial larger than Mount Rushmore. Georgia's current solution is to leave it there and build a theme park around it, which is the kind of compromise that only makes sense if you stop thinking about it. Number 20. Mississippi has no state income tax and consistently ranks last or near last in median income, educational attainment, and healthcare outcomes. The absence of income tax has not, as it turns out, independently solved poverty. This information has not yet fully broken through into the state's policy conversation. Number 21. Alabama has a town called Intercourse. The name refers to the archaic meaning, commerce and trade. This context does not stop truck drivers from doing a double take at the road sign every single time. Number 22. South Carolina's low country coast floods so regularly and predictably that locals keep a mental catalog of which roads are passable at which tide levels. These aren't surprise floods, they're practically scheduled. Wait and see remains the primary flood mitigation strategy for portions of the coastline. Number 23. Tennessee moved its state capital to Murfreesboro in the 1800s because it was more geographically central, and then moved it back to Nashville. That's 2 unnecessary capital relocations in under a century, suggesting Tennessee's government was more comfortable with packing up and moving than most. Number 24. Georgia made it illegal to keep a donkey in a bathtub, reportedly in response to one specific farmer in one specific county whose bathtub-dwelling donkey caused a flood. Rather than address inappropriate animal housing broadly, Georgia addressed the exact intersection of donkeys and bathtubs specifically. Number 25. New Orleans sits in a bowl below sea level, some neighborhoods 6 to 10 feet below, kept dry by levees and pumps that must run constantly. When those systems failed in 2005, the city flooded catastrophically. New Orleans continues to be developed and attracts millions of tourists annually, operating as if gravity might eventually reconsider. Number 26. Some rural Mississippi counties have speed limits that are technically advisory rather than strictly enforced, with roads occasionally missing from official maps. Driving those stretches becomes a personal negotiation between you and the asphalt. Number 27. Alabama has more freshwater biodiversity than any other state, more species of fish and freshwater mussels than all of Europe combined. This is almost never included in anything Alabama promotes about itself, because apparently, competitive ecological richness doesn't move merchandise the way football does. Number 28. Georgia's Okefenokee Swamp generates its own water supply rather than receiving it from external rivers, functions as its own watershed, and contains roughly 400 alligators per square mile in peak areas. Canoe campers can sleep on wooden platforms above the water overnight. More paperwork should probably be required for this. Number 29. Florida has a law technically prohibiting the sale of children. This sounds like it should go without saying. It apparently does not go without saying in Florida, where the specific prohibition had to be formally written into state code. Number 30. Memphis has a law making it illegal for a woman to drive without a man walking in front of the vehicle, waving a red flag. It dates from the earliest days of automobiles. Nobody enforces it. The image of flag-waving pedestrian escorts preceding every female driver through Memphis rush hour has never been a real feature of the morning commute, as far as anyone can tell. Number 31. Louisiana's public school calendar in Orleans Parish is structured around Mardi Gras, with Fat Tuesday consistently treated as a school holiday. It is one of the only places in the United States where a cultural festival functions as a de facto official school holiday. The rest of America takes a Monday in February off. Louisiana takes Tuesday off to throw beads at strangers. Number 32. Monroeville, Alabama, population a few thousand, was the hometown of both Harper Lee and Truman Capote. Two of the most significant American literary figures of the 20th century grew up in the same small rural town. The Monroe County Courthouse still hosts a live theatrical production of To Kill a Mockingbird annually. Statistically improbable, genuinely remarkable. Number 33. Savannah, Georgia, has a downtown grid of 22 public squares dating to 1733, widely considered one of the greatest examples of urban planning in American history. Georgia also contains Atlanta, one of the least effectively planned major cities in the country. The same state produced both the best and worst examples of urban planning within its own borders. Range, number 34. The Natchez Trace Parkway, 444 miles through Mississippi, prohibits commercial vehicles, bans billboards, and enforces a strict 50 miles per hour limit the entire way. No gas stations, no fast food, no advertisements. Driving it is one of the most genuinely un-American experiences available in America, in the best possible sense. Number 35. Bibb County, Alabama has a county seat called Centerville that is located in the western portion of the county, not the center. The name was aspirational. Centerville sits at least 20 miles from anything resembling the county's geographic midpoint. Number 36. A stretch of Tchoupitoulas Street in New Orleans changes names, character, and pavement quality so many times in a short distance that GPS devices have reportedly listed segments simply as waypoints rather than named streets. This is the result of a city growing around a 300-year-old road that predates the concept of traffic engineering by about 2.5 centuries. Number 37. South Carolina has blue laws in certain counties, making it illegal to work on Sundays without a permit. The definition of work is inconsistent enough that it's unclear whether mowing your own lawn is covered. South Carolina has not clarified this, leaving millions of residents in permanent potential Sunday lawn mowing criminality. Number 38. Georgia's Brasstown Bald, the highest point in the state at just under 5,000 feet, would not qualify as a significant hill in Colorado. Georgia's highest peak is lower than the lowest point of some Rocky Mountain states. Georgians refer to it with genuine pride. Technically correct, contextually hilarious. Number 39. Tennessee's Lookout Mountain supposedly lets you see 7 states on a clear day. Geographers dispute whether all 7 are simultaneously visible. Tennessee's tourism board has decided 7 sounds better than probably 4 or 5 depending on atmospheric haze, and has not commissioned further research. Number 40. Mississippi is the birthplace of the blues. Robert Johnson, Muddy Waters, B.B. King, the foundational figures of American popular music came from the Mississippi Delta. The state's contribution to global music culture is incalculable. Mississippi also consistently underfunds arts education. The state that gave the world the blues keeps cutting the programs that might produce the next generation of musicians. Number 41. Alabama has a town called Normal, located near Huntsville, home to NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center, and a significant portion of America's rocket and missile development. Normal, Alabama exists within commuting distance of the place that built the vehicle that went to the moon. Whether the town itself is normal remains genuinely unclear. Number 42. Louisiana's Bayou communities still speak French Creole and Cajun French as primary everyday languages, not as heritage projects, but as living tongues. These dialects survived centuries of pressure, survived a 20th century ban on speaking French in Louisiana schools, and survived the full force of American media homogenization. There are people alive today whose first language is a French dialect with no exact equivalent anywhere in France. That's not a quirk, that's a miracle of cultural endurance. Number 43. In 1958, the United States Air Force dropped a nuclear bomb off the coast of Tybee Island, Georgia, and never found it. AB-47 collided with another aircraft during a training exercise and jettisoned its Mark 15 nuclear bomb into shallow coastal waters to prevent a crash. The Air Force searched. They did not find it. The bomb remains somewhere in the sediment off Tybee Island to this day, classified as Broken Arrow, lost but not an active safety threat. Tybee Island is a family beach destination. Children build sandcastles there, people swim. Nobody puts this on the welcome signs. Georgia just decided that's something the beach has now. The Deep South is a place that produced both the Natchez Trace and a misplaced nuclear weapon on a family beach, both the world's greatest freshwater biodiversity and laws about ice cream placement on Sundays. The charm is real. The absurdity is equally real. The thin line between a quirky regional tradition and a genuine planning disaster runs through nearly every county on this list. Which entry hit you hardest? And does your state have something that belongs on a list like this? Drop it in the comments. If you want more of this, the subscribe button is right there, and it doesn't require a permit or a flag-waving escort.